So again, I just want to say hi, everyone, and thank you so much for joining us on our live stream from the Florida School of Massage. For those of you that don't know me, my name's Christina, and I'm here with Neesha Anderson. And behind the scenes, we have Sarah Thompson and Chrissy Martinez, as always, who I'm so grateful for, because without them, we probably wouldn't be here. And we are just, continuing to stay motivated and inspired to keep getting creative and finding ways to stay together in community, in connection with one another through these ongoing extraordinary times. And of course, we're not at the school. We are coming to you from home, and at FSM, we're just so looking forward to resuming our classes as soon as we can. And as always, I know we have like a variety of listeners from all different backgrounds, and some of you, of course, are very familiar with our community at the Florida School of Massage. And for those of you who are brand new, again, I'm just happy you're here. And yes, we are a massage school, and yet it is so much more than that. And many of our past students and professionals who are out there working in the world continue to, in normal times, to return to Gainesville, not only for continuing education and advanced trainings, but just to dip into this place of ongoing learning of not only body work, but also the exploration of our inner world through this vehicle of touch, awareness, and communication, both verbal and nonverbal. And of course, we're currently still working from home, and we've just really been looking forward to this online time together with you. And we're going to have about an hour to talk with Neesha about her own path to the Florida School of Massage and how she started her own business, SunCloud Designs. And Neesha went through the Florida School of Massage back in 2010, and it was a transformative experience that continues to inform her life today. And she currently works as a web designer and digital marketer. And today we'll be talking about ways to grow and support a massage business online and what it really means to bring value to your clients and a community that you've established in your business, and how to do that remotely. And I just want to say a quick hi to Jackie and Pete. Hi, Pete. Hi, Jackie. And also Caroline, thanks so much for joining us. And I'm not sure if I'm going to say your name properly. Is it Skaya or Skaya? So you can type that in the chat and let me know how to pronounce it. It's a beautiful name. So anyway, we'll reserve time for your questions and comments towards the last 15 minutes or so. And I know you're either joining us on Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, so please type your comments or questions into the chat. And it's our goal to interact with as many of you as we can. And Sarah and Chrissy will be monitoring those comments for us. And if you're just joining us on YouTube, you can also go ahead and like this video and subscribe to our YouTube channel by hitting that little red button below. And remember to hit the notification button as well to get a reminder. And for those of you on Facebook, you can also like this video and follow us there. All right, so now Neesha, you've been part of... Hi, Neesha.
It's great to be here.
Thanks so much for joining us. It's a fun topic and so relevant to these times we're in. And I know you've been a part of our community for quite a while now too. And I know some of our listeners will be new to the Florida School of Massage community. And of course, some people will know you very well. So before we get started and move into our discussion, why don't you tell us just a little bit about your background and actually what originally inspired you to study massage all those years ago and how you were led to FSM.
Sure. I think, everybody is led to the Florida School of Massage for different reasons. I had spent my adult life thus far in academics, and I although I really enjoyed it, and there were a lot of aspects of it I really enjoyed. I started to feel like a little gray inside. Things started to feel a little narrow. My experience of the world started to feel a little narrow, and I had a feeling that I needed to move out of what I was doing to change that. And my sister was going through the Florida School of Massage at the time, and she was relating all these stories to me of what a great experience it was for her, how healing it was for her. And so it's funny because the thing that kind of initially gave me pause to go to the Florida School of Massage is also one of the big reasons I ended up going, and that was it felt like very different and kind of not me almost. Yeah, I had some resistance because I was like, I have no idea, massage just seems like a very different thing. That's not who I am, or, and then part of me was like, well, you need to move out of who you are to, have a different experience of the world. And what ultimately, I think, gave me the confidence to go through the program was just trusting how the intention of the school and the foundation of everything at the Florida School of Massage was, creating a healing space, honest communication, and all of those pieces. And I just knew that whether, I ended up resonating with the program or not, that, it was going to be a positive and it was going to be a therapeutic experience. So that was what ultimately, cinched the deal, and I decided to go through the program. And it ended up being one of the most transformative experiences of my life. Like you said, it continues to inform who I am. And so, yeah, it was really exceptional.
Thanks so much. That's a really interesting story from academia to massage. And I love what you said about feeling gray, because I think so many people during this time feel gray. I think it's such a great way of describing it. It's not like, things are necessarily completely horrible, but yet something's just not right. And so I really appreciate that description. I'm sure a lot of people can resonate with that. So let's move on. So you graduated from FSM and you felt skilled, right? Like you were well equipped to do massage, and you decided not to go that way, not to go into a full-time practice. And now you mentioned to me when we were talking that one thing that really resonated with you about doing massage was this freelance aspect of the work, meaning, creating your own work schedule and your business and all of that. So how did that influence the direction you decided to go in?
Yeah, sure. So I ultimately didn't end up going into massage, which, I went into the program without necessarily an intention to have that be my career training. So leaving the program and kind of navigating into another career didn't feel it didn't feel odd or anything like that. But yeah, I had some experience doing web design from graduate school, and it was an organic kind of progression where I had really liked in the program, when we had classes on, building your massage business and kind of what it meant to be in business for yourself. Those things really appealed to me. And so I had this web design background from a little bit from, doing a project in graduate school. And then organically, I had a friend who needed a website, and I built that. And then I kind of got more people interested in using me for web design. And so I decided to make a business out of it. And I think one thing that I've really enjoyed about being a freelancer is, you kind of set your own schedule, and you also kind of you can evolve your business as you develop more interest, or as you want to kind of start transitioning what you offer or offer additional services as you get skilled in other areas. And I think that applies for massage therapists as well. So that's something that that's really I've enjoyed about my career. Yeah.
That's so interesting. And so now you're in web design and the online marketing business as well, and you're enjoying that freelance aspect. And so those of us working in massage, we've actually been challenged to adapt to new ways of working and maintaining our businesses or trying to nourish our business. Some of us are doing massage, some of us aren't doing massage, some of us are doing less massage. Can you talk about ways that we can work on our business or nourish our business or maintain our business in a digital forum?
Sure. I was thinking about this, and I think a lot of people pursue massage because they want to heal others. They want to offer something of value to others. And if you think about, what are people really needing right now? What are people really missing right now? I think a big thing that people are missing is connection, and needing stress relief. And I think that a massage therapist, especially one who's gone through a school like FSM, they have a kind of unique experiential knowledge that they can bring their experience in connection, not just physical touch, but they have the experience of presence, tuning in, grounding, awareness and self-awareness, body awareness. They have those empathetic communication skills, all of those things that they've developed even more or cultivated going through a massage program. And so it's not just the massage, but there's so many other skills that therapists can offer in a time like this. And so I think just kind of thinking about that connection and that stress relief in a more general sense, and how you can plug that in digitally is a great place to start.
It's so true. I mean, I love what you said about fostering connection too, and I think you're right. I think a lot of us are called to do that in this work. We want to help other people. We want to help ourselves. And sort of like you were describing too, how you were led to FSM. It's like you didn't really think you were going to do massage, but yet it was you had this craving or calling inside of you. It's like something was telling you that was something you needed. So I think that's really true for a lot of massage therapists. And can you give us some practical suggestions of what we could do?
Yeah, sure. So I've seen some creative ideas of ways that people with a massage background have been able to kind of pivot or offer their services in a digital platform. So
great.
Some things I've seen, people are offering one-on-one virtual appointments where they might instruct their client on, self-massage techniques. And this is especially, I think, useful for people that have some kind of, maybe a chronic neck issue or something specific where they can offer them, a handful of techniques or stretches that they can just take with them and help them bridge that gap when they're not receiving a massage. Postural analysis is also something you can do through an online platform. And I've also heard of people doing massage sessions in person, but socially distanced. And that's the same idea. They kind of talk them through and demonstrate massage techniques for the client, and then the client will, mimic those. And then other ideas that I've seen, people have offered couples massage or partner massage, even quarantine buddy massage, where there's your somebody that you're comfortable being close with, and the massage therapist kind of guides a small group or a pair in a massage setting. And so
Love that. Yeah.
yeah, that's something we can do online. There's, if you have skill sets outside of massage that are sort of related, there's wellness workshops where you can incorporate things like yoga or meditation,
Yeah.
stretching. For you, Christina, like even, essential oil workshop or something that you could do digitally.
Yes.
So, yeah, taking,
You're inspiring me.
yeah, taking your all of your skill sets that are kind of related, you can kind of work something that you can do remotely. And then I think just connecting in general through, whether it's something like what we're doing here with a live stream, or a blog, or a video blog, keeping up with an email newsletter, doing a podcast. There's all sorts of ways, just generally reaching out and offering your unique, knowledge and skills to other people.
Can you tell us like a little bit about like how, like from a marketing perspective or from a business perspective, how you find value in connecting with clients and or even future clients in this digital world? Like, yeah, help us understand why that's valuable.
Yeah, sure. So I think that it's important that whether you're maintaining a practice right now or not, in whatever capacity that's happening for you and your clients, it's really important to maintain communication with your existing client base.
Yeah.
One, I mean, when somebody's no longer receiving massage, they can kind of forget the value that they were getting out of it, and so reminding them that you exist, reminding them that massage is valuable, and even educating them, about why massage is valuable and how it works, to some extent, can also make them more receptive to, if you end up offering some of these, virtual options, they can, appreciate that a bit more. So I think it's really important to maintain that connection, and even build a client base or build interest, just by putting yourself out there online.
Yeah, that's really good advice. It's just interesting because so many of us have been like expanding and growing. Like me, for example, I would never have considered doing a live stream before, and there's just a few of us at the massage school or who are involved in this project, and it's really been very energizing. And this, just noticing that this time of being isolated or working from home has this potential for a lot of creativity. And I want to encourage everyone listening. Like Neesha's totally inspiring me to do more in this forum, and it really has been like a very energizing, growthful experience to just actually try doing this.
Yeah.
So thank you for that. So so you're giving us a lot of great ideas, and I know some therapists like have a website, and some people have email lists, and others don't. And can you just like talk first, like where does somebody even begin? Because like how would somebody get started building a web presence if they don't even have one?
Sure. Yeah, so a web presence, first of all, it can encompass a lot, right? So
Yeah.
It can be your website, it can be your social media presence, it can be a blog, it can be writing for other websites, articles for other websites, it can be engaging in forums, it can be, having yourself in massage directories. So a web presence can encompass a lot, and it is overwhelming if you're just getting started, kind of, deciding where to plug yourself in and how to get started. And I would say, first and foremost, if there's a platform that you really enjoy, definitely pursue that, because it's going to help you, for one thing, be consistent. If it's something that you really dread, you're just like, oh, Twitter, like, I don't understand Twitter, and I never know what to write on Twitter. Maybe you won't, be that person who's, posting consistently on Twitter and getting a following there. So I think, find those places where you really resonate and you find, joy in participating. I think, at minimum, when you're starting out online, you want to have a place where people can kind of just get a general sense of who you are, what you offer, and how to contact you. So often that is a website where you have, a website has the benefit of you can kind of make it whatever kind of place you want it to be, right? And it's your content, you own it. And so that's always something I recommend, but it's not a necessity as soon as you get online. I mean, there are people who run a massage practice and they, keep all of their information on a Facebook page. And that's where most of their clients reach out to them and communicate with them, and that's where they announce their events. And so, there's a lot of ways of getting yourself out there. But I would say at minimum, you'd want to have a space that people can reliably reach out to you and kind of get the information they need. And you can expand out from wherever you start.
So do you have a couple of suggestions? Like, let's say somebody, wanted to use this time of creativity to start their own website. And I know there's lots of different platforms where you can do that. Like, do you have a few suggestions of where people could explore, like, simple, I think they call them template websites, right? Is that the correct language?
So there's a whole host of website builders, and they have pre-made templates that you can choose from, and they all have varying degrees of customization that you can do. So if you're a person who has some confidence with technology, and you feel comfortable enough with setting up your own website, there are a lot of website builders. There's Squarespace, Wix, Weebly, just a bunch of them. So I would invite people to kind of explore that terrain and figure out, which one they like. I would say one of the most important things to consider is just kind of being very clear with what kind of functionality and aesthetic you want for your website, and make sure that you're going to be able to do that in a website builder, because different ones have different functionality that they offer, different capabilities, and so you don't want a situation where you build something and then you run up against the limitations of your specific platform, and you can't really do the things that you want to do on your website. But
that's good advice.
Yeah.
And then if somebody wanted more of like a customized website, they could work with someone like you if they wanted to, right? You could hire somebody like me to work with you and build a website, from more of a blank canvas. Sure.
And I think, one of the advantages of going that route is, you get the kind of advice along the way. Things that you might not think about.
Right.
And so you're definitely going to pay more upfront to hire somebody to do a website. But you do get that advantage. There's also another one, Mind Body Online. And there might be a few more like that are kind of more full service, and they take care of like scheduling and appointment booking and payment gateway. And all of those things are built in. Of course, you can build those things into a website, that you make yourself or that you hire somebody to make for you. But just being aware that, you may need all of those things ahead of time is important.
I think that's really good advice. And so if you didn't want to go the route of a website, I heard you say that you could just do Facebook or just be on social media in some capacity, somewhere where people could see you, understand what it is that you're offering. And do you recommend like any social media in particular, or do you recommend that people do more than one platform at once in terms of social media? What would your advice be? I know it changes on a regular basis. Like I know whatever was happening 5 years ago is totally different now. But today in 2020, like what would be your best advice for using social media platforms?
Sure. Yeah, I think just to kind of reiterate what I said earlier, I think, one of the most important things is finding the platforms that you enjoy and that you're comfortable on.
Yeah.
Because I think consistency is a big piece.
Yeah.
Not only for your clients, but a lot of these platforms reward consistency, and so if they see you only post once a month or you post irregularly, they're not going to prioritize your content as much, and you also lose some engagement. So you want to be on a platform where it's fun for you and you're getting that engagement from your audience.
Right.
And so, I would say first and foremost, that's what you want to go for. And I would say don't be afraid to try different platforms and see what you like. And, one of the things that I like to do is, like if I'm building a social media presence or a website for a new client whose business I'm not as familiar with, I go ahead and look at other businesses, related businesses, to kind of see what they're doing. The ones that are really successful, like how are they advertising themselves? What kind of content are they putting out? What do their websites look like? To kind of get familiar with what works in that, in that profession. So I think, as a massage therapist, you can do that as well and kind of take a look at what other therapists are doing and get ideas of kind of the content that you can put out on different platforms. I think it does make sense if you are comfortable with it to put yourself out on different platforms, because different people are in different places online. Different people respond to different types of content. So
that's really good advice, and I love what you just said, because one of the things people talk about a lot is, during this time, is how do I use my time constructively? And I hear people all the time saying like, oh, I have to stay off of social media. Like I'm spending too much time, just wasting my time on social media. But I mean, that sounds like a really constructive way to spend a lot of time on social media. Meaning what I heard you say is that like I could be looking at other massage therapy sites, other education sites, and seeing how they're engaging and looking at the things that appeal to me, and then transferring that to my own business, like how I potentially would like people to understand who I am and what it is that I'm offering. So that's like, it's like you could be studying. I never thought of it that way. I really like that. I think that's a great suggestion. So another thing that I think can be confusing for a lot of us is this subject of mailing lists or email lists. And what do you think the best approach is, like in your experience, to building, I know this is a big question, building a mailing list, tracking a mailing list, and like keeping it current and updating a mailing list? I'm not sure if you could answer all of that, but tell us your professional assessment of mailing lists.
Yeah, sure. I think mailing lists are a great idea. They give you a place to put your content, especially if you're already creating content through a blog or through social media posts or whatever. It gives you one more place to kind of house that content, and you can build your own, potential prospective client base or existing client base with a mailing list that you kind of have forever to reach out when it's appropriate or when you feel like you have something that you want to share. So I definitely recommend doing it. There are several platforms that kind of take care of a lot of the important pieces for you. And so I'd recommend using a platform. I think MailChimp is one that is free for up to 2,000 subscribers. And then Constant Contact. I don't know if they have a free version, but they have at least a free trial. And once you reach enough subscribers, I think it ends up kind of washing out in terms of the pricing tiers. So either one of those I've worked with and they're good. They can kind of track your open rates, and you can do all sorts of fancy things, like if you want to, test 2 different email headlines and see which one gets more opens, or if you want to test 2 different send times and see, when your email list, is more likely to open your emails. You can do all sorts of testing with those. You can also segment your list. So if you, you have a set of emails and some of them are clients, existing clients, and some of them are potential clients, or some of them are people who have gone through one of your other workshops, you can kind of compartmentalize all of those and decide if you want to send an email out to everyone or just one segment of your total master list. So I'd recommend getting started with one of those. I think for cultivating the list and growing the list, that's always a tricky one. It's not something that a lot of people just do. They don't go searching out for like all sorts of email lists they can join. Something they avoid sometimes.
That's true. Yeah.
But, so I think for one thing, if you tell people what they're going to get when they join your list, I think that helps. If you have a specific, piece in your list that you're offering, that you can kind of incentivize people to join. And then you can put sign-up forms, on your website, on your social media, and make it really simple for them to join. Maybe just collect their name and email address, and so they don't have to fill out a big form to join your mailing list. I think those things help too.
That's really good advice too. And I think a lot of those sites also offer free education, right? Like if you're exploring MailChimp, then you can go through their site and like they'll have demonstrations about how to do different aspects of what it is that they're offering, right? Yeah. So it's kind of another good use of our time is to explore all this free education that's available online.
Definitely.
And it's interesting because when we're talking about social media, a lot of people, the way that before they have a business, a lot of ways that they spend time on social media is really connecting with friends and, other services and family members and things like that. And we're really talking about like this transition from like personal use to professional use, right? And how that's really different, like how you portray yourself or how you want to be professional and really be clear about, as you say, explaining like who it is that you are and what it is that you're offering, and therefore, drawing to you the clients that you'll enjoy working with or the customers that you'll enjoy working with. And I know you mentioned like newsletters and blogs and websites and social medias, and can you just clarify, like, what's your opinion like for the best type of content, like professional content to share in either a news or a blog? And also, could you just clarify like the difference between a newsletter and a blog?
Yeah,
sure. How that all relates back to a website or social media?
Yeah, for sure. So a blog is basically a hub where you post articles or your own writing. So typically, a blog you could host on your website, for instance, or you could use, a blogging platform like medium.com or wordpress.com to host a blog. So that's content that lives on a website. And then what a lot of people do is take that blog content or a snippet of that blog content, whether they're blogging every week or every month or every up to, 2 times a week or whatever it is. And they'll take a snippet of that blog content and put it in an email newsletter with a link to read more, to read the full article. And that takes the reader back to the website. So that's kind of the distinction there. So blog content can go in an email newsletter. And then in terms of the the kind of content that you might put in a newsletter. I'd say, aside from the blog content, and with the blog content, depending on your base of readers, you might just want to put a snippet of that content. Oftentimes the full blog article might be overwhelming for people, especially if you're writing, something extensive. But you can put a teaser of the blog content in there. Other things you can put are, updates, what you're up to, if you're offering any new services, if you have anything coming up. You can ask for feedback from people, what kind of services they'd like to see in the future, or you're considering, doing A, B, or C, and what do people think? And so you can kind of get creative that way. You can offer tips and tricks, and like I said, you can educate people and remind them of the value of what you do.
Yeah.
And I think that the more educated that your clients are about what you do and why it's important, the more receptive they're going to be. Excuse me.
Take a sip of water. Drink our water. That's another thing we're always encouraging ourselves to do, right?
Yeah. I guess I'm not used to talking this long.
It's been a while, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's all really good. Go ahead, finish what your thought was.
Oh, yeah, no, I was just going to say, as much as possible, be consistent with your newsletters. So if you want to have them go out, every week on Thursday, try to be consistent with that, especially because you're going to have some people who are looking for that newsletter every week and expecting it at a certain day, a certain time.
Yeah.
And I'd say don't be afraid, especially with like announcements, like if you have a new service or something, don't be afraid to be redundant and say that same, short message over again in subsequent email newsletters, because you'll learn if you subscribe or start using something like MailChimp, your open rate is going to be a small percentage of your total email list. And so some people aren't going to open, a lot of people aren't going to open every email, but they might open every third email or something like that. So if there's a message that you want to get out to everybody, don't be afraid to put it in, multiple email newsletters. And then, if you have a way to be unique and separate yourself out, that's a real good idea.
That's great. And so I hear you saying a lot of different things. So you could technically have a blog without having a website, or a newsletter without having a website. And there's all these great platforms. So you could just really pick one thing, one challenge to nourish and grow your business during this time. And it's really helpful, because I think sometimes for a lot of us it can just feel overwhelming to have a website, to maintain a website, or any of these things. To just keep it all going requires time, but at the same time you could keep it really simple. And and I really like what you said too about consistency, because I think that's really true too. It's kind of like an exercise program, right? Like if you're consistent, like suddenly you see progress.
Yeah.
Like you may feel like really, this is such a hard exercise, but then eventually you start to see progress. So that's really good advice. So I'm curious, because you're in this business and, things are always changing so fast. I'm wondering, like in the world of web design, like what's really inspiring you these days? Like what are you excited about? Like how are you growing your own work? Like what's new? Like what's the latest, greatest in your world?
Well, I'd say one of the ways that I've, grown my business over the last few years is moving more into digital marketing as opposed to web design. I mean, I still do both, but a larger part of my time is spent with the digital marketing side.
Yeah.
And it's interesting because you're getting to know kind of what demographics are responding to your ads, and what ads get a better response. And one thing that kind of stepping back and looking at it, that's kind of reminded me of is the importance of, like you were talking about earlier, is having clarity about what you offer and the kind of clients you want, and where your value is, because that's all very integral in deciding where your ads are going and what they're saying and who you're advertising to, and there's that saying that you can't please everyone, and I think that's something that you've really got to take to heart when you are doing digital marketing. You're not trying to just blanket sell to everybody, but you've got to really decide who you want to target or who you want to receive as a client, and it also it helps you with your authenticity in your advertising. If you're very clear about who you are, what you're offering, I think your advertising, it comes off in a more authentic way.
I love that. That's so beautiful. Now you're getting into like spiritual principles about authenticity, right? And it goes back to like a lot of what we talk about at the Florida School of Massage, right? Which is being our true authentic selves. And I love that, because it's like you're talking about like marketing and all these things that can be very like intimidating to a lot of people starting out, or it can feel like sales, like I'm trying to like sell myself or like that. But really you're just talking about like the power of just being authentic and being your true self, and how for some people that can be scary, right? Just to really put yourself out there in a very authentic way. And at the same time, it can be so transformational and so just so powerful it's freeing to be yourself in a way, even though it feels scary in the beginning, to just really put yourself out there and to stay authentic. I love that, because you can use online tools and an online forum to do that, to just be yourself. And see what comes your way. One way or another, it's going to be growthful, right?
Right.
Whether you decide never to use social media again, or you decide to just enjoy the process and have it benefit your clients and therefore your business, right? Love that. All right. Wow. Can you believe it? The time is flying, as it always does on live stream. So I'd just like to pause for a moment and have Sarah jump back in with us. And Sarah, can you hear us?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, hey.
Sarah.
Hi.
So I'm just curious, do you have any comments or questions for us, or anything that you'd like to share with us?
People have been appreciating this topic, so lots of gratitude. And a question that comes to me is, maybe if you're getting started, like this is your first time on digital platform, could you speak a little bit about like what would you advise in terms of building organic traffic versus like paid traffic, and if I wanted to pay for an ad or something?
Sure. So I'd say for building organic, I mean the same principles that we've been talking about kind of apply. You want to be consistent and reach out to maybe different platforms to see kind of where people are going to respond best, and you can kind of link different platforms together, remind people of if you have a website, on your Instagram and on your Facebook and all of that, you can remind people that you have the website and that exists to kind of build traffic there. So you can kind of set up a digital ecosystem. And so if it starts to take off in one space, if you're connecting all of your different platforms together and reminding people of that whole ecosystem, it kind of builds up everything. I'd say you can start with existing clients or friends, family, to help you build that organic reach. If you're maybe a member of forums or different groups related to massage, where you can kind of say, hey, I just started out and I have this new page, can y'all check it out? I think one way to kind of solicit people to come to a new platform that you want to build is to offer something, so that it doesn't just feel like you're, trying to get people to follow your page for no other reason other than you want more followers or something. So, offering people something of value, they're going to be more inclined to reciprocate by liking or following your page, or subscribing to your YouTube channel, or subscribing to your newsletter. So all of those are ways to kind of get started.
Awesome. Thanks so much.
Yeah.
That was such a great question, Sarah.
Yeah, great
I'm
question.
Learning new phrases like digital ecosystem. I'd never heard that before.
I don't know if I have either.
It's good. You might want to coin that and
Right.
see if there's a website that exists. Right. Buy that website web name URL. I think is how you say it. Right.
Yeah.
Great. Anything else, Sarah? Any other comments or anything else that you'd like to share?
I think we're good. Just lots of appreciation on this side. This seems to be speaking to folks. Yeah.
Yeah, good. It's so interesting. So before we finish, Neesha, one of the things that we really like to ask people who are joining us on our live stream is something that we talk about a lot at the Florida School of Massage, which is what it means to live life on your own terms. And I would just like to ask you that question. I mean, you're a graduate of the Florida School of Massage. You've been in a whole different business for the past 10 years. And what does it mean to you to live life on your own terms?
Sure. So, I think as a freelancer, living life on my own terms means, having the freedom to kind of decide what I want to do with my time, and trying to, shape my life to make as much of it, valuable to me as possible, or to, put value in the work that I do, and having, the freedom to kind of shape the type of work I'm doing. I think another piece of that I think everybody has to kind of grapple with is just working on the kind of self-discipline and the self-discipline to kind of give yourself that freedom. Because a lot of times what I found in my experience is more than anything else, more than any other external influence, I sabotage myself more than any of that. So just working on cultivating my own inner discipline and presence and self-awareness kind of grows my ability to live life on my own terms. If that makes sense.
It totally makes sense, and I'm sure a lot of our listeners can resonate with that. I certainly do too. Again, you're just talking about like these spiritual principles, right, of listening to ourselves and really cultivating intimacy with our own inner world, right, and what's going on there. So I really appreciate your comments, and I really resonate with a lot of what you're saying. So if we don't have any other questions, we can go ahead and wrap it up. I really want to thank you, Neesha, again for joining us. And if you have questions for Neesha or are interested in her business, SunCloud Designs, you can email her at neesha@sunclouddesign.com. And she also has a website, sunclouddesign.com. You can check that out. And she is a wealth of knowledge. I will tell you that. She is so enormously helpful in the digital world. So do not hesitate to reach out to her. And we'll include those details, her email address and all of that in the show notes. And I just want to say again, if you've enjoyed your time with us, you can subscribe to our YouTube channel by hitting that subscribe button below, and you can hit the like button and share it with your friends. And you can also click the notifications button to get a reminder. And you can also follow us and like this video on Facebook. And if you'd like to learn more about the school, you can visit our website at floridaschoolofmassage.com. You can register for our live stream there or our newsletter, and you can contact us there, and we would be happy to connect with you and share more information about the school and keep you informed about when we will have new classes starting. Even though we're shut down right now, we're still here, and we could even set up a live call with you. And we'll be doing our next live stream in 2 weeks' time, the 3rd week of September. And I hope you can join us, and you can look for email updates about that. And we'll be talking to Samantha Jones, who's the founder and owner of Searchlight Yoga here in Gainesville. And we'll be discussing things that scare us, fear, and like how when we're ready to face our fears or to try something new that scares us, that we have the potential to become a new version of ourselves in that transformative journey, whatever it is. And I hope you can join us, because we're so alike as humans, and God knows we all have things that scare us, right? So thank you again, Neesha and Chrissy and Sarah, and thanks for all your behind the scenes support. And it's just always such a joy to be together, to feel connected. And until next time.
Thank you so much, Christina, and everybody behind the scenes. I really appreciate being invited.
Yes, thank you, Neesha. Yeah, so stay safe, everyone. Be good to yourselves and to each other. And bye for now. We'll see you next time.